Good afternoon, ma'am. I thank Dr.
Good
Neeraj Jain
afternoon.
for inviting me to present on this topic, effective volume of parotid glands for assessing radiation injury during the radiation therapy for the head and neck cancer patients. So, next slide. As we all know that xerostomia, or what we can say dry mouth, is one of the most common problem in the following RT in head and neck cancer patients. It not only impairs the quality of life of the patients but also lead to some long-term oral disorders. So the next slide. The purpose of this study is to propose an effective volume by excluding the fat from the physical volume of the parotid glands and to conclude on the what will be the prediction for the radiation injury of the parotid glands in the head and neck cancers. For that, the study has taken the data, city-based data for the patients, for 21 number of patients, which will be discussed later on. In this study, not only the volume is an essential factor they have taken city number change factors of the parotid glands after the fractions, after the radiotherapy. During the radiotherapy fractions, they have taken the combination of these two changes, like change of volume in the parotids and what will be the changes in the city number. These two factors are used to predict the rate of xerostomia. Next slide. Enter. So parotid glands are made up of basically two cells, acinar cells and the adipose cells. What they have taken the hypothesis, if the fat is excluded from the physical volume of the parotid glands, the remaining volume, that is effective volume, would be more efficient to predict the mouth dryness. Next slide. This is a city number method. Like, as we know, whenever radiation passing through a material, it will get some absorbed and some part of it will get transferred. So mu is the linear attenuation coefficient and HU is the Hounsfield unit. By this formula, mu minus mu water by mu water into 1000. So they have taken this model to calculate the change in the city number of the acinar cells as well as the adipose cells. Next slide. So when the radiation will pass through acinar cells as well as adipose cells, the two different attenuations will be mu1 and mu2. Next slide. The combination of these two materials will give this formula. Next slide. So the HU and the volume of these contours, what they have taken the diagnostic city quality data daily during city guided RT, and daily they have drawn the contour of the parotid glands, submandibular glands, and the subcutaneous fat. Okay, the Hounsfield units and the volume of these contours were used to calculate the effective volume of the parotid glands with the two assumptions. First one was, next slide please. First one was the HUs and the volume of the HU of the acinar cell. Next slide. Enter. Previous one. The HUs of the acinar cells in the parotid glands can be substituted with that of the submandibular glands, which is less fatty, and the HUs of the adipose cells can be substituted with the fat. Okay, then the correlation, next slide, previous slide, previous one. Then the correlation between the effective volume with the xerostomia were analyzed using the Pearson correlation test, and the significances were inspected using the t-test. Okay, next one. Next. So this is just a summary what they have taken. I have just told you. The same method was also used for another patient cohort in China, 18 patients with nanofibrosis. Here comes the results. So what they have found in the change in the volume of the parotids. On an average, the fat initially accounted for 25.9% with some deviation of the physical volume of parotid glands, and it has raised to 30.2% after the RT. The change of effective volume was significantly smaller than the physical volume. Next slide. Yes, enter. So you can see here, this is the data which is comparing the absolute volume reduction with the relative volume reduction of the physical volume of the parotid glands, and it is showing some xerostomia stages with grade 0, 1, 2 and 3. 0 and 1 is under mild, and 2 and 3 is under the severe. So the change of effective volume, next slide please. Next slide. So this is the same data, but this is for the effective volume. The change of effective volume was significantly smaller than the physical volume and is more correlated with the xerostomia grade than the change of the PV. So by replacing the physical volume with the effective volume, the correlation coefficient has been increased from 0.56 to 0.72. And next slide please. Yes, this is the effective volume model. The correlation between the absolute volume, as you have seen in the previous slide, the correlation between the absolute volume change and the relative volume change becomes more linear with the linear correlation coefficient, that is from I think 0.56 to 0.72. In this graph, here we can see the effective volume lead to clear clustering of the moderate xerostomia cases in a spread region along the linear fit of these cases from 0 to around 70% in the figure, where the relative volume reduction was plotted with respect to the absolute volume reduction. And here the sensitivity came out to be 88% with the specificity of the 100%. Next please. And these are the same graphs, but this is for the second data for the China patients, but they have taken 18 number of the patients. Next slide please. Next slide. Next. So what is the possible adjustment, like what can we do for to find out the effective volume? Here they have just predicted this method. Next slide please. So in conclusion, what they have done, by excluding the fat, they have given the method to find out the effective volume of the parotid glands, which will improve the correlation between the parotid gland volume reduction with xerostomia grade. This facilitates the predicting the severity of the radiation induced injury to the parotid glands. Limitations like small group of patients were taken, no ideal substitute was there. So future work can be, this explanatory study shows the possibility of using the quantitative analysis of the CT-based data. The methodology could be improved with a multimodality image technique and serve as a quick and convenient tool for the clinical purpose. Thank you so much.